Hello everyone, today we are going to be doing an unboxing review of the Star Wars Black Series, The Mandalorian from the Mandalorian show on Disney+. And this is the Beskar armored one, and I am very happy to have found this because I actually went to my comic shop to look around and they actually had this on the peg and it was actually the last one there. So I ended up picking him up and I did pay right here $22.99, which is somewhat the prices some of these figures are having to be increased at this point. But you can still probably find them for $19.99 at dorkside.com. But anyhow, looking at this packaging, this is the new style packaging that they have for the new style of the figures. And on the side of here, you can see a nice illustration of the Mandalorian in the Beskar armor, which looks really nice. It's a really nice sketch version of him. In the back, we have basically the same design there, and it says right here, number 01. Star Wars The Mandalorian, and it says right here in a little bio, his body is shielded by Beskar armor, his face is hidden behind a T-visored mask, and his past is wrapped in mystery. No one is quite sure who this well-equipped stranger is. Of course we don't, because he's still a mystery, even though we now know his name. This is just going to be one of those figures I'm really happy to get because I already have the original version that came out. Now I'm getting the Beskar one, which is basically the one that everybody's looking forward to, especially now that the new show is going to be coming out in the next few weeks. But right now, let's open this guy up and see how he looks. All right, let's cut some tape there. We have some up there and up there. Wow, that's a lot more tape on these packages nowadays. But I guess they're just trying to make sure that nobody tries to steal them. We have the opening. And boom. Oh, look at that. It actually has a tray over it. And it has the new little paper part of all this information now that they've been putting in these figures, which I don't really need. But look at, there he is in his packaging. So let me just take this guy out and look at him much closer. And here we have Mando out of the packaging, and I gotta tell you, this is one beautiful piece of plastic figure. I mean, Hasbro has done an amazing job making the Mandalorian Beskar armor figure one of the most accurate looking pieces of figures that they have. Now, luckily for them, they were able to make this figure based already off of what the design came out after the show was out. So they were able to take their time and build it and make the pieces fit to where they needed to be. But looking at this figure, it is just amazing. I mean, I love the proportions, the way it moves, the way it does these things is just great. And overall, it's just awesome. And they did make some slight changes to what the original figure came out was, but this is just great. I mean, just looking at him up close, you can see he has the helmet, which is a lot more cleaner than the last version, because now that he has the Beskar armor on, everything was changed, and his armor was just upgraded. And as you can look down here, the chest armor is completely different in ways that it was designed. Now you have the new shoulder pads, or the shoulder armors, but you also now have the insignia here of the Mudhorn that is placed on Mando's shoulder during the last episode of The Mandalorian, the first season. So it's really nice that they did that, and the crest there. I mean, I'm hoping the design there looks really good. As you look down here, you can see the look of it is just super nice. You have the new piece right here that's actually been sculpted and painted in silver, and you have this piece that looks the same, just a little bit different in color. But overall, as you can see down here, much of it is the same, but the colors are just slightly different compared to what the original was. If we look back here, we can see that Mando has also a new back plate. And his backplate also has other pegs that will actually work with another accessory that he comes with. But overall, if you look at this is just nice. I think the gauntlets are new too, because now that he has this new gauntlet that shoots out these I can't remember for the life of me right now the name of it, but these little missiles that shoot out and kill people. It's really nice. I mean, just look at that. I mean, if there was one thing maybe I would say that I wish they did better on this, would be that the color of the silver was more shinier. For some reason, it just doesn't shine, because this is made out of gray plastic. This is made out of gray plastic, so is this. This is basically just painted over. So are the gauntlets, which is why the gauntlets and the chest piece here look a little bit more shinier than the rest. But I wish those pieces were actually, everything was actually colored more better so that it would be more shinier like it was in the film or in the show. But overall, it's done really well. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison of the Mando from the first episode to the Mando from the last episode of the first season. And as you can see, there is slight differences in terms of their armor, as I mentioned. The chest plate is way different, and the shoulder pads, as you can see here, if I can show you these, the shoulder pad is different. I do have a custom cape on this guy because I didn't like the plastic cape that it came with. I'm probably going to do the same with this guy because it gives you much more movement, and it looks way better if you do have a cloth cape. But anyhow, as you can see, the color of the inner suit is actually different compared to the original first episode one. Here he has a little bit light gray and a tan color, and when you come to this one, it's more of a dark brown with a bit of a gray in the middle of his abdomen, which is a different color. So it seems like when he upgraded his armor, he also upgraded the suit, so that kind of looks really cool. But as you can see, the colors are different. The helmet is the one thing that's still the same. The only difference is that there's a lot more dirt and grime on his original first appearance compared to what the Beskar armor one is. More shiny, more cleaner, much more stealthier in my opinion. But overall, it's like really well done in terms of his evolution in suit and where he's gone from. But like I said, overall it's exactly the same figure. And because it is almost exactly the same figure, that means the articulation on this guy is way far beyond most of the other Mando figures that they've come out with. Now let's take a look at the accessories that the Mando comes with. Now he comes with two similar weapons that he came with in the original, and he plus comes with an extra one, which I know you already see right here. But first let's talk about the original things he comes with. Now he comes with this nice pistol that he holds with him, and it is a little bit different compared in terms of color compared to the original first episode one. As you can see, it's more of a gunmetal gray and a little dirtier on the original first episode, whereas when he has his Beskar armor, it's a much more shinier silver with a brown handle. So that's a nice little differences in that. Here we have also is his rifle that he uses, in which he takes out a lot of his enemies with. And it's also, in terms of color, it is a little bit different, but not so much. As you can see, there is some silver cleaner on the actual gun itself, or the rifle, and then over here it's a little gunmetal, so it's somewhat the same. And as you can see right here, there is a lot of scuff right there from my Mando holding the rifle. It's a very tight grip, and so now the paint's coming off of it, but it's fine because it kind of makes it look like it's wear and tear that he's been used before, so it's nice. But those are the two rifles, or at least the original rifle and the new one. And here we have what everybody's been hoping to get, is the jetpack that comes with Mando. Mando doesn't get this jetpack until episode 8, in which he uses to take out the rest of the squadrons that are after him, or the stormtroopers. And it's really nice. It's made of the design is not the same as any other ones from any figure that came out. It's unique to its own self. The only thing I'm not happy about is that it's made out of a gray plastic, so it's not very silverish. There's no paint apps at all on this thing, so it just looks plain, and that's kind of disappointing. You would think they would put a little extra effort in making this to look a little bit better, and they don't even include any kind of other effects for the boosters. But if you are a collector of the Marvel Legends brand and you have a couple of Iron Man figures that have come out recently, this is one of the boosters in which he can put onto his feet and hands, and it is actually a perfect fit for the boosters. So in case you wanted to add a little effect to your jetpack, you can definitely do that. But that's one of the things I wish they also added with this figure, along with some other effects with his new gauntlets that fire those little missiles and stuff. But overall, I think they gave you a really good selection when it comes to its effects or its accessories. Now when it comes to holding his weapons, Mando is very easily able to hold his weapons. His right hand has a trigger finger in which he can still use his pistol, and unfortunately the hand that is used to hold his weapons is still very rough to move with, so it's going to be a little bit tough to get that through, but you can definitely get it through, and he holds the weapon with no problem whatsoever. And to store it away, you can easily put it right here on his little holster. Slides in right in, simple, and it clasps in. And Mando has no problem whatsoever holding the rifle. And once again, like I said, the hand is very hard to get through, but once you're able to get that in there, he holds the rifle really well, and his hand can grasp the rifle right there, which is actually a really good stance for him. And when you're not using the rifle, you can easily store it behind his back on this strap area with a little peg, and it does stand up a little bit, but it does still hold well, so that you can always have Mando just looking like he's looking for somebody for a bounty of some sort. Now, talking about this jetpack accessory, there is a very difficult way of putting this on because it comes with a plastic cape. That would mean that you would have to try and put this on his back, and as you can see, there are 3 pegs that fall into that, and it plugs in really nicely and really tightly, but the problem is that you're going to have the cape come into play, and that's going to be very difficult. But that's why I think fabric cape would work way better, and so I'm going to probably take that off right now so you can see how this looks with the jetpack on. And as you can see, the profile of it is really nice. It looks really good behind him, and like I said before, if you have those little boosting boosting effects from Iron Man from Marvel Legends, you can actually put that there so he can actually look like he's flying forward of some sort. Now these are a little bit warped, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. But I think the overall look of it is really nice. Now let's talk about the articulation on this guy, and like I said before, I think his articulation on this figure is really well done. It's the engineering of it is really good. So as we look here, he has a double ball peg on his head, and it's in the same in the bottom of his neck, so it can give you a lot more of these ups and downs to look. So he can look up slightly down there, and he's got some small pivoting, which is nice because being a character that's got a helmet on, you got to be able to express his emotions in a way with a little tilt here and there. But it moves around freely, moves back and forth, up and down. Now the shoulders, as I said before, are one of the nicest things about it. It's that it has this nice little armpit joint which allows it to move up, back and forth a little bit. Now you may think at first, oh, that doesn't mean anything, it doesn't do anything, it may not help as much, but it does help when you want to do it in a certain stance, because that little bit of the shoulders going back can just give you a nice looking profile or a nice looking stance for him. And when we come to the shoulder and its movement, it's actually really nice too, because the actual shoulder armor is made of a very nice soft plastic, and it's designed to go above the shoulder and not go into it, so therefore you can get a nice bend upward, which is really cool. And then you have the movement that goes up and down, and there's no, like I said, there is no restriction there whatsoever. Now when we come to the elbows are now being engineered by Hasbro to have no pins whatsoever, and they're also engineered so that it's a single bend. But the single bend and then the deeper cut that you can see here, I'm hoping you can see the deeper cut that you have here allows you to just bend and give you a nice bend on the hand. But at the same time, as where the bend is going on, you have an actual movement. So there isn't a bicep swivel, but it's more in the lower part, but it still works really well. Now when you get to the hands here, the left hand can move to the side, but it has a hinge that goes this way. I'm not sure how it's called, but it goes in and out. And when you come to the one in the right hand, this right hand goes this way. Now if I can show you, and it's great because what this does too is that it gives you the better opportunity of holding the weapons that he has, such as the rifle with his 2 hands in a certain way that needs to be held. But also, if for example the Mando were to have, like, let's say a sword of some sort, maybe a laser sword, who knows, he can actually grip it and have it pointed forward and the way it needs to be held. Now when we come to the torso, you can see it freely moves all about, and it turns left and right, and it can go up slightly and down slightly, so it gives you a nice little ab crunch there, and it moves side to side freely. When we come to the actual hips and legs area, the legs can go forward this far, go back a little bit because it's being held, it's stopped by his own butt. Then we have an upper thigh swivel, which is good. We have a double jointed knee, and it's kind of not the best looking knee because it does break up the scope and it just looks kind of bad, but I mean, it's not too bad. It just gives you good range. And then we have come here, and then we have the ankles, and the ankles can go up, or at least the foot can go up. It can go back pretty good, and it has an ankle pivot. So with all of those things together, you can actually get, like I said, a really good stance for the Mando whenever he's ready to fight or whenever he's ready to go against somebody. Alright, then let's try some size comparisons now with other figures in the same line and different lines. Here we have Jango Fett standing next to the Mando, and the Jango, of course, is from episode 2. Here we have the Bandai model kit Boba Fett, which is a really good representation of him. What you also have here is the Mafix Boba Fett from the Return of the Jedi figure, which has a different gauntlet and paint scheme, and the height-wise of them are pretty good. Let's get those guys out. We also have now other figures of his enemies. We have the regular Stormtrooper with his blaster, and he's unable to stand for some reason. Well, that's okay. They can't even shoot right, so why can't they even stand? There we go. Then we have here a Scout Trooper, and it's one of your, if you remember one of the scenes from episode 8, the Scout Trooper is not well liked anymore. Then we have here the Death Trooper, which makes an appearance again after seeing him on Rogue One. Oh, he makes another appearance here, which is really nice. Okay, take those out. And let's take a look at some of his allies in the show. We have here the heavy armored Mando. There we have, oh my god, I forgot her name for a moment. You know who she is. But we have her. For some reason my mind's going away. And then we have our favorite droid of all, who is IG-11, who made a self-sacrifice to save them all. But as you can see, the height difference on these guys are pretty good. But let's not forget one little fellow, and that is the Black Series Child, which is super tiny, and I hope you can see it in the screen. But that is an amazing ensemble of characters. I'm really waiting to see if Grief Karga is going to come out. Well, there you go. He goes. But I'm hoping to see Grief Karga come out at some point. And for the hell of it, here we have the Mando riding a Dewback, in which we see him ride when he visits the planet of Tatooine. And I gotta tell you, this is actually really cool. I think this is one of my displaying options that I might have the Mando on. Alright everyone, that's my review of the Star Wars Black Series, the Mandalorian Beskar armored action figure. And I gotta tell you, it is well worth the wait to find this guy. You gotta look for him in the stores if you're able to. And if not, try ordering him online. Dorkside Toys had him on pre-sale. Try Big Bag Toy Store or any other places online. Try to pre-order him. Don't pay scalper prices. But if you find it also at your local comic shop, buy it from them. Support comic shops right now, especially with the times that are going by. But yeah, overall, I think this is just a great figure, and I love him. I think he's going to look great in my display, as you can see right here. It's just, I mean, how can you not love this? You know, and that's what I love about action figures, especially the Star Wars action figures. They're just amazing. They're great, and they just bring you back to a time when, you know, there was always hope for better things and stuff like that. But anyhow, thanks a lot for listening to me, especially if I rambled on about other things. But either way, thanks a lot for checking this out. If you liked the video, please press the like button, subscribe, put any comments or any questions you may have about this figure or anything else, and yeah. But anyhow, take care of yourself, guys. Be safe, and may the Force be with you.